Let's practice some more with ANOVA in JASP. So we have a different set of data. Make sure that you've downloaded that data. It's actually the same set of data as we used last week on the anorexia study. And then also download the directions. I've got them right here. So as a reminder, in the anorexia study, there were 75 female and male participants who went through a 90-day treatment program. They were exposed to one of three different treatment conditions: conventional therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, or family therapy. And a couple different things were measured on the participants at the very beginning, before therapy started, and at the end of therapy. If you'll remember, the three variables were weight, pre and post, life satisfaction, pre and post, and self-esteem, pre and post. And so we're going to do some practice with ANOVA with this data. So the first thing you need to do is open JASP and upload the data. We're going to confirm that our variable types are correct, and we're going to enter the variable labels the same as we did last week. So here we go. So you will recognize these data. What I need to do is confirm my variable types. Treatment is not ordinal, it is nominal, so I'm going to change that. Age is a scale variable, gender is nominal. Ethnicity is also nominal, there's no order to the ethnicity. And then all of these measures are scale variables, so we're in good shape. The next thing we're asked to do is to do the data labels, so I'll do that very quickly. Conventional therapy for the first group. Cognitive behavioral therapy for the second group. Family therapy for the third group. For gender, we had males and females. And then finally, we have the ethnicities. And voila, they are there. So now we are all set. Your directions then ask you to do what we always do to find those descriptive statistics, starting with our nominal variables. I'm going to come to descriptive, so I'm going to move my three nominal variables over. I'm going to select frequency tables and deselect the statistics. Next, I'm going to do descriptive statistics for all of the scale variables. One of the things I'm going to be interested in knowing right now is how many participants do we have, and are they in equal groups? So let's see. So what I'm going to do to figure that out is I'm going to come over here to the frequency table, and I'm going to look at conventional, cognitive, behavioral, and family. We do have equal groups, so when I get to my post hoc test, I can use the Tukey test. That's good news. All right, so you have your frequency tables, you have your descriptive statistics. Now we're going to do three different ANOVAs, and the directions that I've provided for you don't have all the steps. If you need a written record of what the steps are, you can look at the directions for the last ANOVA that we did. So the first ANOVA that we're going to do, I need to look, says differences in treatment approaches on patient weight after treatment. So I'm going to come to ANOVA and click on ANOVA. And patient weight after treatment is post weight. That's my dependent variable. That's the thing that I'm going to see if there's a difference between the different treatment groups. And the treatment groups are my fixed factor. So I'm going to be looking at the difference in post weight by treatment group. I'm going to click on descriptive statistics. I'm going to click on estimates of effect size, assumption checks, homogeneity of variance. This is all the stuff we did before. I'm going to come to post hoc test. I'm going to move my treatment variable over. And I've got Tukey selected, so we're very good. I think that was all the things that we needed to do, right? So now I'm going to click back over and see. Now, first of all, a lot of you are going to be saying immediately, those of you who are just so smart, you're going to be saying, well, weight is depending on the individual, and can we really compare weight as a measure? And the answer is, you're absolutely right. We're doing this for practice purposes, so it's not the best measure. The best measure would be if we would have found the difference score between the pre-weight and the post-weight and then saw if there was a difference there. But we didn't do that. That's okay. So here we go. This is our ANOVA. This tells us everything that we need to know. Our degrees of freedom here, 2 and 72. Our F statistic, okay, well, we know that an F statistic of 1 is pretty balanced, and our P is less than 0.001, and our eta squared is 0.20. Okay, think about how you're going to interpret all of that. We have our descriptives. Now, I will just say that we will look at the post hoc test in this case because, spoiler alert, it's significant, right? It's less than 0.05. So here is where we can tell where the significance lies. We look at this post hoc test, and we're looking for P Tukey, which means if it's under 0.05 here, this is where the significance is. So this chart can be a little bit hard to read, so I'm going to help you out. Conventional versus cognitive behavioral therapy is not significantly different. Those two treatments are not significantly different on post-weight. You'll notice that the second one doesn't have anything right here, and that is because it just takes conventional and compares it now to family. So conventional and family have a P of less than 0.01. This is where the significance is. So there is a difference between family therapy and conventional therapy. So we're going to look at that in just a little bit closer in a minute. And finally, cognitive behavioral therapy and family was also significant at 0.035. So we have two different types of configurations that are different from each other. So what we can say overall is there is an effect of treatment type on post-weight. And then finally, we can say that conventional therapy is significantly different from family therapy, and cognitive behavioral therapy is also different from family therapy. Now let's look at the means to see what this all means. So we know that there are these differences. First of all, conventional versus family. Conventional has a mean of 81 and family has a mean of 90. The people who went through the family therapy weigh a little bit more, and that's a good thing when we're talking about anorexia nervosa. So that is a significant difference there. And then also cognitive behavioral therapy and family, cognitive behavioral weighed 84 and family weighed 90. So there's a big difference here as well. So what it looks like in effect is that family is really different from those other therapies. And maybe in this case, we say that family worked better in terms of putting weight on people. All right, that's the first one. We're going to do the next one. And what we're asked to do, I'm going to look at my paper just to make sure, is we're going to conduct an ANOVA to determine whether there were differences in treatment approaches on patient self-esteem after treatment. So now we're just going to do very much the same thing that we did before. Treatment is a fixed factor, and this time self-esteem after, let's see, did I have self-esteem there? Yeah, so self-esteem after is the dependent variable. Let's go down and click all the things that we need to normally click. Estimates of effect size, assumption checks, homogeneity test. We're going to look at that homogeneity test this next time. We're going to look at post hoc test. Move the treatment over. And we've got Tukey selected. We're good. There's not anything else we need to do, right? I think we're good. All right, so as I look at this time I said we're going to look at the assumption checks for the homogeneity of variance. So here's the test for equality of variances. We want our variances to be equal. We don't want there to be a difference between them. Otherwise, it's hard to interpret our ANOVA. And our p-value, yes, is 0.30, meaning that the variances are pretty much equal. We don't have to worry about that. All right, coming back up to the ANOVA, we have an F of 1.074. Well, that's pretty close to 1. And when we have an F of 1, we say it's balanced and there isn't going to be a significant difference. You can take a look at the P and figure that out, and look at the eta squared as well. We're going to do one more, and I think you know which one this is, an ANOVA. Treatment is the fixed factor, and this time we're looking at life satisfaction after treatment. So we're going to look at that. Now, let's see, descriptive statistics, estimates of effect size. We are going to do homogeneity of variance again, but I think we don't need to really worry about that too much. We know that our variances are about the same. Post hoc test treatment is going to move over. And we've already selected Tukey. All right. So here's our last ANOVA. Let's just take a look at this. We have an F of 0.126, a p-value of 0.88, and an n eta squared of 0.003. All right. Think you know what all this means, right? So what we're going to do now is I'm going to have you remember to export your results, save them anywhere. I don't care where. Maybe I'll save mine on my desktop. There we go. And then you can just submit that HTML file to me. That is it. We've done ANOVA using JASP. I hope that you enjoyed it.